So here I am, picking raspberries, as I'll show you right now. And I'm here with a man named Anthony Anderson.
Hey everybody, what's up? How's it going?
Do you want to do an introduction or?
Sure, what's up man? Kevin, I'm Anthony Anderson.
Cool.
And I'm 32 years old and I started this forest garden, otherwise known as a food forest, in 2008. So it's probably the sixth summer now. And it's about 2 acres, a little less than a hectare. And it's based on a lot of fruit trees, nut trees, tons of raspberries, lots of grapes going through, all kinds of vegetables. We have a really cool veggie patch here that my mom's specializing in. It's a straw bale garden.
Wow.
That's funny. I have a lot of facial hair right now, and so it's not too common that it's this long. It's like, that guy's got a crazy beard. Cherry trees, plum trees, lots of comfrey. If you know what comfrey is, it's a really good dynamic accumulator. You would like to plant it around your fruit trees, and it feeds them over the years. Lots of wildflowers. There's butterflies coming through here. There's tons of Nanking cherries that are just finishing up.
So, what we're doing right now is called a edible forest garden or a permaculture forest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
What exactly is that? Just so my friends can know.
It's basically edible landscaping. If the quickest way to go right to it is, you live in this cool yard, wherever, you know, whether it's out in your own spot or if it's in the suburbs, but you've got trees all over, and you've got fruit trees and berry bushes all over the place.
Hey, there's some monarchs over there, I think.
Right on top of the oregano flowers.
Yeah.
And so every day
it's teamed with life.
It's like the third week in July, and for about the past week now, I just come out here, and my mom comes out here, and we probably pick about 3 to 4 pounds of raspberries every day.
And how big is this whole forest garden you got right here?
The actual area, I would say, that's under growth, like stuff that I've tweaked, is probably, I would say, an acre. Right. Or maybe even a little bit, maybe a shade more. Right. But there's really big chunks of Zone 5 wild area in the back of both corners, on the east and the west.
Right.
And I've got the eastern meadow over here, and then behind us over there we've got the western meadow, and I'm slowly bringing up the edibles through the other wild stuff. Yeah. And continuously using the branches of the wild stuff to kind of feed the edibles throughout the years.
So, like, I guess maybe some people might be asking, why would you want to do a forest garden? Why not just make a traditional garden, just have rows of tomatoes, or, you know, select your crops and do it more orderly? This looks like chaos or something, right? Yeah. But what makes forest gardens so unique and perhaps advantageous to these other kind of more conventional form gardens?
It's definitely one, especially if you live here, because I probably spend less than 40 days a year here. Right. If you keep laying down the wood chips, you keep everything mulched nicely, encourage your berries, encourage your trees, encourage your rhubarb, your asparagus, all those perennials, the grapes, keep them, let them get bigger and bigger. Have your cover crops with just like some cool grasses and all these flowers through here. I mean, you can just kind of walk on top of this, and this isn't white clover. It's not like you can really walk, but it's beautiful, you know. I don't even really want to touch it. Yeah. One thing I just love is just how, like, when you compare to, they're talking about biomass in some of these videos. Yeah. And of how, like, what is biomass and why is it important for producing food? Because in a lot of, and this is, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like in a lot of conventional gardens, you're growing lots of mass for the particular foods you're choosing. But for the mass per, like, square acre, it's a lot less than a forest garden could be, because the forest garden has so many layers. Oh, sure. You don't just have a row of tomatoes. You're doing trees, and you have nuts falling overhead, and you have berries, and then you have other roots, and then you can compound the layer, and then so per square area, it's way more productive for food-wise and diverse. Oh yeah, with like about zero energy after I'd say maybe the third year. As long as you're keeping things mulched nicely. Yeah. And it becomes ultra low maintenance, and you basically just harvest after that. Yeah. And you get your pathways established, keep them clean, And all your perennials, all your fruit trees, all your berry bushes, your nut trees, they just keep getting bigger and bigger. And then it's just like free, organic, chemical-free food at your doorstep all the time. Especially, gosh, what's so nice right now with the raspberries. They're so easy to pick right here. And just continuously for the past week, you just keep picking them. It's really cool.
Yeah. So for anybody, for anybody, you know, that sees the benefit of growing more food in this world, I think we can all see that that's a really good thing, especially when it's done in a much more protective way for the landscape.
Yeah. And really, this is, I think, the number one thing a person could be doing for their parents, like their aging parents that might be getting into their 60s or 70s. This would be a really good thing to establish for them, because this is like a living grocery store.
Yeah. Look at all these berries over here.
And it's a good place for them to live in their elderly years, and it's a good place for any human to live. So this is what every human should be looking for. I mean, whatever house you want to have in this, you want to be kind of placed in this forest garden, full of fruit trees, and we could have chickens around here. If I was here more full time, we would have chickens.
Yeah.
But for now, we have so many wild birds that we're friendly with, and
there's
they
so much life here in
nutrients.
general. So much animals. So much.
Yeah.
It's very lively. It's a very lively atmosphere.
And you can see too, like there's a lot of sometimes berries that will almost get too, we'll miss them, you know, like they'll just somehow you miss them, and they'll be kind of droopy, and those get cycled back into the soil here.
Right.
So it's a really good thing, and the birds keep eating, and it's feeding everything. There's a lot of feedback. There's some new fruit trees that we planted through here.
Yeah.
We were thinking at first to keep this wide open, but really loving the fruit trees and wanting to base it on that. So those will kind of get bigger and bigger with time, and we'll just work our way around the shade and see how that goes. But it should be good.
And another thing I'd like to touch on is not only is this an area for, you know, experimenting, growing food in a different way, in a, you know, not mainstream way, a very interesting and productive way and awesome way, but also, like, what else can you do at the same time? And there's lots of other side projects, you know, a few that Anthony is working on right now, such as the rocket stove. And it's like, you can also make it to an experiment ground. Like you can, it's like, I don't know, I just find this activity really embodying of a diverse amount of skills. You know, you can do things very technically if you want to experiment with more greenhouses, or you can do more low maintenance, and you can probably do more hard labor, choosing on how you want to, you know, give the direction of your garden.
Yeah.
The whole idea here, the main idea, is that you are not working against nature, but you're learning how nature naturally goes and taking advantage of that and being more of a guide. So you end up having to do a lot less maintenance. Like, for example, how much maintenance did you do last year when you weren't even here? You know?
Oh yeah, it's so condensed and short. And now that I'm really going with the wood chips too, it's kind of funny, like your perspective changes on what you want, and it's usually about, I would say, 2 weeks a year overall. And then it kind of it fades into, it depends on how much grass you want to pull, or but it's very little.
Cool. So
And even if you wanted to go, like, we've got the straw bale gardens over here, and my mom has those on the side, and then she put some soil in and planted all the veggies.
Yeah.
And so the weeds don't compete. And I'm really impressed with how that turned out. It's the first year for these, the straw bale gardens. And I'm just,
nice.
Like the beans too. There's lots of beans here. The broccoli. It turned out really nice. These are sunchokes, or Jerusalem artichokes.
Right.
And they'll continue.
We have those at the co-op.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep
really
spreading those, and I want to have this whole back wall of these.
Yeah, it's really nice because you get to play a lot with diversity.
Yeah.
You get to, it's, you know, there's a huge
so
creative
much.
element too. There's the technical element, the creative element. So, yeah.
I mean, no other time
really
in
fun
history
activity.
would you be able to get so many species onto your property. Like, you'd never be able to perhaps order stuff from, like, these, they're called hascaps or honeyberries.
Yeah, right.
Edible honeysuckles.
Yeah.
They're down here by underneath the deck. And they're from northern China, I believe. And otherwise, who knows, maybe in 10 years, 20 years, oh, there's the chipmunk.
Yeah.
Maybe we wouldn't be able to get those. So we're very lucky right now to be able to get all these cool species. And you know, play around with them in our garden and with the stuff that's already here, kind of mix it. It's really cool.
And how do we define permaculture? That's probably one of the questions we should have in the beginning, but
Yeah,
for new viewers.
permaculture.
But yeah,
Permaculture, I think, is a design system. It's a lifestyle design system, which is based around organic living and sculpting a landscape to be more like a paradise garden. So it's a landscape design system. You could be turning a field into a wavy, hilly, with like cool, fresh, natural swimming pools, and then plant fruit trees everywhere.
Right.
And before that, oh look at him, he's just sitting there chilling.
yeah. There's so much life around here too. You notice lots of insects.
I want to see if maybe he'll
maybe he
go
might
for
want
this.
that. Yeah. You know, maybe just go a little farther. What do you normally get for it if you really liked it?
He ran into the flowers.
Huh.
Yeah, pretty much right there. He'll definitely eat that.
Yeah. Probably when you leave, maybe.
Yeah. It's gonna be like, I'm
Cool.
tired of raspberries. I eat those things all the time.
Dude, I love raspberries.
That's
My
probably
favorite
that's
fruit.
probably what he's thinking. He's like, I eat those damn things all the time. I'm sick of those.
Oh,
'Cause there's so many.
yeah.
Yeah, honestly,
Are you gonna do nut trees or?
yeah, there's a black walnut back here. There's a lot of hazelnuts. I really went crazy with the hazelnuts, maybe like 15 of those.
Wow.
And I just want to really major in those and then keep plugging in. Every time I try and plant like a hickory, it doesn't take. Perhaps if it was a little warmer, I would go for like a chestnut.
Yeah.
But maybe I could probably do it. I don't know. It's pretty nice and warm here.
Yeah.
Maybe with the shift in the climate,
Right.
if it is getting warmer, I don't know. Who knows if it is? It kind of it's tweaked so much. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But if it is actually going to keep that pattern up,
Awesome.
then maybe we could grow like chestnuts here. I don't know. But I'm not too. I wish I could come up with more fat sources, but I would like to actually just have lots of chickens, so lots of eggs, and then maybe just can stuff. Make who knows? I mean, even just trading with butter and stuff. That's a good way to get fats. If that's like the case, if it's like the end of the world situation, like what would I do? You know, you definitely want to major in some kind of cool starch crop, like a good, really good staple crop, like sweet potatoes or potatoes.
It's really helpful advice.
And then chickens as much as possible, and then all your fruits and berries and nuts, and then go from there, and then mix it in with all the wild greens. And otherwise, I mean, people can always build ponds. That's another thing that we're blessed with. Is we can use the machinery to build all these cool landscapes, when maybe in 10 years that might not be possible, or it might be very expensive.
Wow, what an introduction. Thanks for that. Like, I guess we'll probably just wrap that up for the introduction, but
Cool, man.
yeah. But yeah, this is basically what we're looking at here. It's like, for me, I've had a few aha moments recently in like my interest in sustainability, and these permaculture forests or forest gardens or edible forest gardens, whatever you want to call them, discovering them was definitely an aha moment for me. You just have so much access over such healthy food and for such low maintenance. But yeah, that's it for the introduction.